At this point, Muhammed is still scheduled for removal on Tuesday.
On what?
Pardon me?
On Tuesday?
Yes, on Tuesday at 6. I'm currently working as hard as I can without legal counsel to stop it from happening. Of course, there's a lot of back paperwork and a lot of information that happens kind of behind the scenes. We're doing our protests. I'm trying to contact media outlets. I have the petition going. Our YouTube video is over 800 views at this point. Everybody but the court seems to understand what's happening here.
Yeah.
I've sent in something particular to what's called the deferral unit at the Canada Border Services Agency. I included your letter and explained that it's urgent and crucial that his removal does not happen. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. I really, fingers crossed, hope that they approve that we can go ahead and start other things that we need to do to secure his status. So I'm not sure if there's anything else up your sleeve or if there's anything else that you can think of that may assist in keeping Muhammed here. I'm not sure if the letter at this point is enough for them. I'm not sure if you have anything else, knowing more, you know the way that a lot of this works.
Yeah. Well, thank you for calling, for expressing your gratitude about our assistance. But in the first place, I've also been very much impressed by your intervention, because apart from marrying Muhammad, definitely the political history, the geographical history and everything, you could have just been one other indifferent person, but you have not been, and I thank you for that, and may Allah reward you for that.
Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to say is that, yes, did you have something to say?
Oh, I just wanted to say that it's been amazing to hear through Muhammad, because of course I don't speak Sarahu or Mandingo or Fula, to hear what's happening there. Because again, unless you speak those languages, it's hard for somebody like me to know what's going on, and inshallah I will learn it.
Yes.
Inshallah I'll learn it. He's starting to teach me. I'm starting to learn Arabic right now too, but Muhammad is a very good man. He's a very intelligent man, and what's happening is not just for him. So it is my duty as a human being, as a Canadian, as his wife, to fight for some justice for him. If I didn't feel that his case was legitimate or that he wasn't in any danger, then I would say a long time ago, Muhammad, let's just go, and we can have our partnership and our family anywhere. But because of what's happening in the Gambia and the critical nature of the government, it's quite disheartening what's happening to us right now. But inshallah, with the work that we're doing, it'll stop. Go ahead.
Yes, I think, like I was saying, the best way to fight against certain illegal action, quote unquote, because this is not legal in the humanitarian side of things. Even though the people may think that they are deporting somebody based on laws, but I think international law supersedes local laws, especially where facts are presented, because the whole thing is like Geneva Convention is there. It's like, somebody who should be protected against persecution is governed by two sides of the coin. It's like you have been tortured and you can prove it, or you can prove with facts that you fear for future persecution, and in Muhammad's case that's obvious. So that is the paradigm that one should look at. So I would think that I think even this conversation we are having, I don't think it does any harm to put it on the radio. I don't think there is any harm, because as I would tell you that if you don't mind, we can just go ahead and put it out there. I mean, even though we are just having a conversation, because you've not been hiding anyway. So what you've already done is even. So I think that's what I would do, because I mean, I think if you don't have any issues with me putting you on record or something, because when you said it's about Muhammad, I just believe that I should put it on record.
Right. I have absolutely no problem with that. If I can do anything to stand for what Muhammad deserves, I will do it. Yeah,
so the other thing, what I think about is when you said I have something under my sleeve. Yes, because as you are speaking to me, I was thinking about one thing. I don't know, maybe the time is too short, but if there was any way that a local TV out there could have me and Baba or any other Gambian to speak on Skype, and then it is blown out in the community there, that would be very helpful. Because I can tell you that I've been in the diplomatic field, and I can tell you that the diplomats or politicians or people in government, especially when it concerns human rights, most of the time they would definitely not play with public opinion.
Yes, I think that these protests, the protests that I'm doing actually, since I started doing it, the first one was the day before yesterday, they will not allow me to see Muhammad at all.
Yeah, and that is why you contacting us, and then we working with Baba, like I always tell people, I mean, in the background there are a lot of things. If you didn't say it in the open, I would have never told people what I did. So, because the thing is, I'm not hiding or anything, but I do it out of faith. I mean, for the sake of God. That's it. But in this case, it's not a question of, saying who did what. It's a question of telling the world something wrong is happening, and the life of a young man is at stake, and there are facts proven that, of course, tactically, I know how the government in the Gambia would operate. Sometimes they may even hear, oh, okay, Mr. X or Miss Y is being deported. They may act indifferent, as if there is nothing happening. You may even land, and then they will not even touch you, just to cover the eyes of the people. Just stay for a week, and then you will see what will happen to that person. Right. You know, those are tactical things we have to we must use anticipatory intelligence in this situation, and that's what you've been doing. I mean, you've been doing great. The letter that I wrote to the Canadian authorities, and other things, the video, like you said. How many people did you say watch the video where you have my picture and all these people? I mean,
the video that was made by the protest group of myself explaining a little bit of what's happening, it has Muhammad's picture.
Okay.
It has over 800 views since Monday.
Wow, that's good.
It is great. I feel like I need more. I need more eyes on this.
Yeah.
The protests that we have done have only been between 6 to 10 people.
Okay.
I feel that I'm having a bit of a hard time getting the media involved. I don't know if it's because it's too last minute or what it is, but I feel a little bit stuck in terms of the exposure. I feel that Muhammad needs exposure. And this isn't, Canada and the world, especially Canada, should know what's going on in the Gambia.
Absolutely.
Because again, nobody in Canada can speak the local language. But for somebody like Muhammad that knows 5 languages, that can tell me what's happening, that can explain things, that I can go to Amnesty International or the United Nations or the United States Department of State report. With both him and I together, we have a very good understanding of what's happening there. And this would provide an opportunity for Canada to really see what's happening in the Gambia. And that's important. That's important. Our Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, was in Senegal. We have new ties with Senegal recently. They don't know what's happening in the Gambia. So Gambia needs the exposure, Muhammad needs justice, and we need to be heard.
Absolutely. What you're saying is definitely very, very pleasing to hear from. I mean, that in itself, if any Gambian hears what we are saying, and obviously I promise you that they will hear it on the air. I mean, it's like like you just said, 6 people came out. You see, dictatorship in any country instills fear. People will travel all the way to Canada and they will still fear Yahya Jammeh even to come out and stand up, because you see, it's just like one of the politicians in a Gambian politician said in North Carolina. It's the Gestapo thing. If they come for the imam, you don't say anything. They come for the priest, you don't care, and they came for the rabbi. I mean, it's like any person who does not come out to join you in these demonstrations. Today is Muhammad's day. Tomorrow it will be their day.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, injustice cannot be fought with naivety and indifference. You must be involved in fighting for your right. No, because these are freedom is not something a dish that somebody serves people. Freedom is like oxygen. You are entitled to it the moment you are born in this world. That's it.
That's right.
So, but
at the protest that we had today, the leader, he made a speech and he recorded it, and he was explaining that a bird can fly from branch to branch, from tree to tree, from continent to continent to migrate and do what they have to do. And a human being can't get that same welcome, that same justice, that same opportunity to flourish. Correct. Muhammad is a smart man. He's educated. He's private. His Facebook, his picture even doesn't look really anything like him. He's a private man, but that doesn't mean that he's not standing for justice. That doesn't mean that he's not writing. And the plans that he has for business, the plans that he would have for the Gambia to utilize the river, the plans that he would have to develop that, to help his people, it's very big. He spends hours a day with these type of things. He has reports, and he's in a spot that I cannot believe Canada, who is supposed to stand for equality, Canada is supposed to stand for justice, fairness, freedom of religion, freedom of race. I feel it's been the exact opposite. And as a Canadian citizen, I am very ashamed.
Yes.
In fact, I'm part of this case, and there's a quote right from Muhammed Sillah. He wrote, "Civilization is built on a number of ultimate principles: respect for human life, the punishment of crimes against property and persons, the equality of all good citizens before the law, or in one word, justice."
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the other thing I was thinking about, like, coming back to the question you asked me if I have anything under my sleeve and all that. I mean, I was thinking about, if not the local channel over there, how about if we can quickly, I don't know if you have the talent of doing that, I mean, if we can quickly do a recorded version on Skype that you will take me and then put it on YouTube with you again. I mean, let it just splash, let it just go out, let people know. It's a question of agitation, it's a question of information exposure, it's a question of shouting out loud for people to know, hey, this person is a victim. And Muhammad may be a private person in one way or the other, but he's very much linked to us at Hello Gambia. I know that for a fact. Muhammad's records are there. There is no doubt in my mind. Any person who is linked with these online papers, especially a paper like Hello Gambia, and I know that he is linked to this. I mean, in fact, his Facebook is linked to all these places. I mean, so he is not the least hiding at all. And that's very dangerous for him.
Right. If it matters, if it's a spot where he can say something to raise awareness or to bring a different approach or attitude about an idea, in those cases, that's where he runs for it and that's where he flourishes.
Correct.
As far as his personal life or anything like that, he's a true politician. Yeah. He will talk about the things that matter and he leaves the personal things private. So, of course, what's happened in terms of his case and the details that have gone out, he's a little bit shy about, but at this point he understands how crucial it is, and he is quite fearful. He's very frustrated at this moment that he's in a detention center, cannot see me, which is his main support here, his only support, and he has bugs in his food, his water is not always warm. They don't want me to see him because they are mad I am protesting. There is no law that they can show me as to why I cannot even see my husband. And it's frustrating. And I think they're doing that so he feels frustrated, so that he feels hopeless. He needs support. He needs to know people are helping him. And I was speaking with a gentleman today who actually was the first gentleman this No Deportations to Iran group started petitioning for. He's from Iran. He came into the detention center. He was there for 2 weeks. He had a removal order against him. He decided to go on a hunger strike. When he went on the hunger strike, they took him into jail. He was on a hunger strike for 11 days until they released him. And the only way they would release him is by $90,000 bail. He was in a position where his friends and family were able to get together to give that money. But for somebody that is crippled by a system, no status, not because he's not smart or educated or works hard or wants to get to the top in that type of way, but because he's crippled, because he's not given the opportunity. If Canada gave him the opportunity, gave him status, gave him what he needed to flourish, to pay his taxes, to be a part of Canada,
absolutely,
he would be 10 times more of a benefit, 100 times more of a benefit to the Canadian economy than 75% of the Canadians.
Absolutely.
And they're looking at him maybe because he's a Muslim, maybe because he's black. I would really like to know why Muhammad is not getting justice. And regardless of whatever happens, I'm going to keep fighting for it until he gets it. Not for a man like this. A man like this does not deserve this. Maybe if he had a criminal record, I could understand Canada maybe not wanting him. Maybe if he had underlying things that were happening. But for a case like this, I know it better than anybody else. I'm probably the only Canadian that knows what condition the Gambia is in. And it blows my mind. It blows my mind. I cannot believe it.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I mean, you see, this is what I'm saying. Injustice cannot be fought with indifference. I mean, the thing is, like what you're saying, I like that. I mean, I was accredited to Canada. You know, I was accredited to Canada. Of course, I never came over there to present credential, but I was scheduled to do that before my tour of duty ended. So it is like if a person like that writes and makes reference to that effect, I believe what they should do is at least to think, understand, hey, this is a serious case. I mean, nobody enjoys running around the globe. Even if you are the richest person, there is nowhere like home. I'm pretty sure that Muhammad would not blink an eye to tell these people detaining him that, hey, I don't want to be here, put me on a flight, take me back, if he knew that if he goes to Gambia, there is rule of law, there is democracy, there is tolerance, and he'll be left alone to exhibit what he has, to show his skills and flourish. Do you think even myself or any other person would like to stay away from his country? Nobody likes that. But there is a difference between, I mean, making a good choice and a bad choice. And then in this issue, like I said, anybody who is fighting dictatorship should be ready for being what I call the peg. Is either in the prison, or you're in exile, or you are in the grave. You know, so I think what I will say here is Sarah, right?
Yes,
yes, I would. I think what the only thing I can think about quickly, like you said, we need some quick thinking here. It's like, because Tuesday is too close. I mean, I'm just thinking, like you said, exposing it. What do you think one can do just to make a quick recording, put it on YouTube, and just splash it out? I mean, it's like, that's the only thing. I mean, I wish it was within the U.S. I mean, I would have just risked and then drive my car over there, go and meet them, and just talk to them and plead and make them understand, hey, if a person like Muhammad is here, that's why someone like me also took it upon himself to leave his job and come here as a former diplomat to tell you that, hey, this is serious. You know, nobody can be more royal than the king. They cannot know what is happening in the Gambia more than us, the Gambians, especially a person who has worked under that tyrant and knowing exactly what he can do to somebody who is critical of his government, especially at the magnitude where Muhammad went. Muhammad is One of those people who would call us 24/7 to remind us if the website is down. You know?
Great.
So, I mean, he's linked with us. Whether one, it's not even about asylum or anything. It's not even about deportation. He's linked with us. That's the biggest risk he can take. I know people who have asylum, who have citizenship, who don't even want to be linked with us simply because they are scared of President Jammeh, let alone a person who knew that he could be in hot waters at any time, but he took it upon himself to take the risk and be associated with us because of the injustice that is prevailing in our country.
That's right. That's right. There's actually one Gambian I know of that's in Canada, and I spoke with her via Skype when Muhammad was put into the detention center. I asked her, I didn't realize she was in Canada. I thought she was in Gambia. I asked her if she could write some sort of statement as to who she knows Muhammad to be and how critical it is that he stays in Canada. She then revealed to me that she was in Canada and she was still scared to write a letter, so she didn't send one. She's in Canada right now, and she's too scared to write a letter that won't even go back to the Gambia, that will go to the Canadian government to explain what's going on. She's too scared to do that. That's pretty fearful.
Well,
that's pretty fearful.
Absolutely.
That is so sad, is what that is, and that is so unjust. And you're absolutely right. If Muhammad could return home, see his family, drink attaya, go to the mosque his grandfather built, see the street he grew up on, climb a mango tree to get a mango that he's so used to doing, you know, go to where the beach is. If he could be there to be with his family and his culture with his music and take me with him so that I can experience something so amazing in a place like Africa that has the people, the history, Islam that Muhammad introduced to me. I took my Shahada in February, alhamdulillah. Then that is what we would do. But we're scared. And I am going to be with him wherever he is. Him and I have agreed on that. And I will be there fighting with him. It's a duty as his partner. It's a duty as a person. And if something ever happens, then that's an even bigger case, because now you've got a Canadian involved. And I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it.
So you're saying if they were to take the decision to deport him, you're willing to go and land in the Gambia with him?
Yes. Yes,
wow.
I am.
That's definitely you need to be commended. That is the biggest risk a partner can take for his or her partner. That is the biggest risk I've ever had so far. I mean, there's no other option in my mind and in my heart about what is right. Yeah. And so I'll be spending along with him. And Sarah, you've earned my respect, and I'm pretty sure that anybody who listens to this session with you and I on the air will definitely, you will be respected and be remembered. Well, this is the way it starts, though. I mean, there must be some kind of provocation, not in the wrong way of using the word, but I mean, at least showing the tyrant that, hey, you know what? Okay, you want to kill me with my partner. You want to jail me with my. I hope at that time the Canadian government will come to understand the magnitude and the risk involved in this case. I mean, unless what did they say they are deporting him for? Isn't it because he overstayed a visa or something?
It's the most pathetic, ridiculous reason I've ever thought Canada could come up with. He came here as on a student visa. International fees are very, very high. He struggled and he struggled and he struggled. His student visa expired. He filed for refugee protection because he was scared to go back home. What he wanted to do was go to school, work, get his status that way. He was put in a spot where he filed for refugee protection, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But for Muhammad, he wanted to do it a different way. But he is a refugee. That's what he needs. He needs asylum in Canada. And what happened was we have not had the funds required, which are thousands and thousands of dollars, to get the legal counsel to word things right, to put it in the format, to deliver it. You know what I mean? We've done a lot by ourselves.
Yeah.
I signed on just today.